I would say, in considering the past 3 tracks I've covered with D'Artagnan, and considering the thumbnails, this is the one that perhaps screams to me, highest production value possible. Even though I'd say in the past couple videos I've watched of D'Artagnan, those tracks being My Love's in Germany, Trink Mein Freund, well, I'd say more so My Love's in Germany and C'est la Vie. Trink Mein Freund was much more of a live performance piece. It was a bit different, but it still, had a bit of production. The quality, the resolution of the video, but C'est la Vie and My Love's in Germany were much more narrative driven. And those were, in consideration of the past too, especially My Love's in Germany. My Love's in Germany looked like they spent a lot of money in regard to investing a beautiful manifestation of a 16th century Scottish poem. I think it's 16th century, I might have that wrong. But it's the My Love's in Germany poem by Hector McNell. Anyway, C'est la Vie, likewise, I just covered that song. Beautiful presentation. But it's not just, presentation that wins you over. It's the song itself, if you're looking at music. And D'Artagnan is an incredibly captivating group. I've been really impressed with what I've heard from them. Folk rock, I've not given that genre much of a listen, but I'm a rock and metal fan, so of course that type of music appeals to me quite a bit. And I'm a big European fan in regard to what I hear from the music industry out there. The number of groups I've come across in regard to my European side of my playlist really impresses me on the quality of it I've found. And I know that I'm positioning myself as a bit of an anomaly, in regard to my social group, which isn't that large, but nobody really knows the music I listen to, especially European groups. I can guarantee most of the groups I listen to from Europe, no one's ever heard of in regard to who I know. But that's the type of artist that I hope to showcase on this channel, the lesser known, but the very equipped and extremely talented. D'Artagnan would qualify with such attributions. I've been very impressed with their music. Of course, metal appeals to me easily, and symphonic metal especially, but I've been very impressed with the originality of what I've heard from D'Artagnan. They're really unlike any group I've listened to in regard to the musical versatility that they have in the instruments that they pick. I've not heard bagpipes or flutes used that often in metal, but I'm continually captivated by what I've heard. A group that I would, easily say fits into a repeat listen qualifier. 3 tracks in, I've been very impressed. Let's give a 4th a listen for now. Again, when I considered, because with My Love's in Germany, I was just so enamored that I'm like, I want to give D'Artagnan more of a listen, even though a lot of these tracks I'm looking at are pre-released. If there is anything in the future, My Love's in Germany being the latest of those, the most recent, if there is anything that comes out in the future, of course, I will jump immediately to cover them. In part to give attribution to a beautiful group and hope to give them more recognition, so they're more widely known, perhaps even in America. I'm not much of a traveler, so I don't see myself jumping overseas to go to Europe. But if they ever come to America, I would happily go. I went through, after My Love's in Germany, just kind of looked over recent, coverage that they had on their channel in regard to music videos published and new tracks, or more recent ones. C'est la Vie and Trink Mein Freund came up, as well as WESTWIND. Like I was saying, out of the 3 thumbnails, this is the one that, to me, screams like most, the highest production value. It just looks very cinematic, at least when I pull it up. So let's go ahead and give WESTWIND a listen. I'm assuming, like the other tracks, this will also be sung in German. That is particular with this group because I believe they are German-based. They are a German folk rock group. As such, I understand perhaps maybe this song won't be the most approachable in lyrics to those of us who studied Spanish or another language. It's kind of the bout I'm in. But, I haven't minded, by the way, that the songs are in German, because I'm just swept away by the tunes. But what I will do for your convenience is not only will I pull up the music video so that we can watch the song and listen to it for the first time, but I will also superimpose the lyrics as best I can for those of you who do know German. If you want to read along with the song, I'll provide that courtesy to you. And I will also provide, to the best of my ability, a translation below that. And I'm sure my comment section will fill up with corrections. I welcome them, because again, I don't know German, but I'm trying my best to provide you with the most ease you could have in appreciating a group that I find extremely talented in the European scene. Alright, WESTWIND, the officials video. Here we go. It's fun to at least attempt to try and pronounce things. Another third beautiful location. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous landscapes. Okay, they kind of make me want to go to Europe. This has definitely got the most, like, Pirate Days type sound to it. That musketeer vibe, that is strong with them. They weren't kidding. So I appreciate it. That's beautiful. It's just so engaging to watch, too. Like, they really put a lot of effort in making beautiful pieces of art. Of course, in music, but also the presentation. You just feel engaged with them. Okay, kind of like that drop in the instruments, too, but at least a second outside the percussion, but beautiful. I'm really digging the energy of the chorus. It's really good. Was that a Levi's tag? I'm surprisingly modern. I have to go back and look at that. That was funny if that's true. Like modern jeans in a like pirate video. It feels like that. It feels aged. It's supposed to. Okay, we were changing the key on the last verse. Or they could switch it again, let's see. Nope, they reverted, okay. They changed it for a second, alright. I think that worked for me. I'm usually mixed on last stanza, or last measure key changes, but it wasn't bad. And plus they kind of reverted back to the beginning too, that it feels like there's consistency. That's gorgeous. That one definitely, I would say, out of the four I've listened to now, definitely has the most pirate luster to it I think I've heard yet. But, you know, they say, they take it seriously. You know, we go for a musketeer image, and yeah, you've definitely produced that. It's just beautiful. I mean, again, I like these softer ballad numbers too, even though there is a higher intensity of the energy. This one I would say feels more along the lines of, let's say, My Loves in Germany are... I still think, but no, maybe C'est La Vie. No, C'est La Vie still felt a bit more frenetic. Like Trink Mein Freund, I think out of the four I've looked at thus far is the fastest. But they have a very distinctive sound. Again, it's the mixture of instruments I just don't find that often. Flutes and bagpipes. And of course you hear string instruments, and of course that's an easy grab for me. I love listening to strings. But I'm just really impressed with what I've heard. And again, their music videos are gorgeous. I mean, maybe they didn't put as much, I would say, money into this one. It's just proper lighting, proper time of day, beautiful locations. I mean, I want to go to Europe just alone to see this, just to stand on like this shoreline, just beautiful. It's highly engaging music, really beautiful pieces of art, and just stuff that I have not really had on my playlist for really ever. I'm just folk rock. I mean, again, I'm quickly developing a love for it. Even like in every measure here, I've spoken before, you know, in regard to endings on tracks. Last measure key changes I'm conflicted on, but the fact that they reverted back, I really liked that. Because I'm like, you know, in some cases it works, right? If there's enough time spent perhaps in properly transitioning from one key to another, and as long as both keys seem to match in tone with the song and the nature of it, it works. But, you know, other songs, it comes across, let's say, a bit abrupt. As much as I love them, they're an example that I've used. Blackbriar, for this case. You know, I love Blackbriar. They're Dutch-based, if you're not familiar. And they've, in fact, as I said, I believe... Did I mention that in this video? Maybe I mentioned it in the last one. They did a collaboration with My Loves in Germany. That's how I actually came across Dartagnan. Blackbriar has, it's from their first EP, Deadly Nightshade. Beautiful song, but they employ a last measure key change. And, you know, I feel that the song's great. You know, I love it overall. But the ending, it's kind of like, well, you know, I preferred the beginning to it. So then to quickly shift towards the end so abruptly to go from, I can't give you the measure, but to raise the octave, a bit, or not octave, but to raise the pitch. It was like... It just felt like a bit of an abrupt jump where I would have liked for the song to feel like it had this finale feel on that original key pick. So I was interested to see, okay, well, I think here it would have worked if they would have changed the key because they provided that introduction. So it feels like we were mapping to that point properly. It didn't feel like this quick switch. Maybe you have a different judgment set than I do on last key changes. It's just something that, you know, it's a certain way that I feel about it. It depends on the group, it depends on the song, it depends on the overall effectiveness of the translation. Whichever way they would have gone about it here, I would have been fine with, I think. But Westwind's an ever good listen. Beautiful. Just again, I really am impressed by this group. I didn't realize how much I would love folk rock, but this is exactly why I have such a love for European music. It's just so enticing to me. But the art that I find, it's just the range of the artistry that I find in European music, I don't see matched other places. And like I've said, you know, we have talent across, you know, in different countries, many in America, of course, and many groups have spotlight on this channel that are exceptional at their craft, but I've just never heard a group like Dartagnan, or many of the groups I've come across in the European music industry. It really impresses me what I found. And I consider myself all the better for it. You know, again, I realize that the more I go into European music, the more I distance myself from my peers. But I'm like, well, you know, again, I know where to find the talent, obviously. So you guys go listen to your Hollywood music over there. Like, nah, I'm fine with the more original, lesser known, because I see it much more of a grab here. What are your guys' thoughts, though, of Westwind? I mean, not, again, throw shade at talent. I'm just like, you know, a lot of the music that at least is brought up in my circles, I'm like, I just don't see the enjoyment value that I find with groups like Dartagnan or many other groups I found in Europe. I'm really impressed by the craft I see here. But Dartagnan's always a beautiful listen from what I've heard. What are your guys' thoughts? So perhaps you're a longtime Dartagnan fan, or maybe you're somebody that just came across them. You know, you're sort of a recent fan, or you know, like I am, or maybe this is very much a first impression for you. I'd love to hear what angle you come from, as well as your overall thoughts down below. In regards to where I go in the future, again, like I said, I've just picked out a couple tracks of Dartagnan. I'm going to probably give some of their other track listens, you know, a listen, you know, behind the scenes, just so I have enough time to get these up in comparison to all the other stuff I've got. I've got a lot of coverage I got to get around to, but I do set aside time for talent, and I've certainly given plenty for now with Dartagnan. But if they ever would release something in the future, you know, after my lives in Germany, I'll, you know, as best I can, jump on it. I'm very impressed with what I've heard so far. And the 4 tracks I've listened to from this group, I am very much impressed. Another hit, I would say, from Europe. Highly engaging. Thank you so much for watching this video. Before you bounce, feel free to drop a like and comment, subscribe to this channel with a ding on the bell, and share this video with your friends. And consider checking out the description here. There you'll find links to my other channels, as well as addresses to my other social media accounts and ways you can help support my work if you feel so inclined. May God bless you, and looking forward to when our paths cross again.